This one's a jaw-dropper, a story that had even the ER doctor in shock.
Let's see. Have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? I was crying.
In the small town of Artesia, New Mexico, a 19-year-old high school cheerleader's secret was about to be exposed. A bloody massacre, a trail of footprints, and a life lost. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. Practically every chilling detail was captured on camera, leaving everyone stunned. Despite the obvious signs, she still claimed she was a virgin. Now, she's fighting back, suing the very hospital that saved her. We're going to get into it, but first be sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on updates to this story, trending topics, and so much more. Now let's get into it. On a seemingly ordinary day, a young cheerleader's life took a drastic turn. After a grueling practice and possible dehydration, Alexee Trevizo was struck with excruciating back pain. Desperate for relief, around 11:30 p.m., her mother would rush her to the emergency room. Little did they know, this visit would reveal a shocking truth. Upon her arrival, triage nurse Chris recorded Alexee's primary complaint of lower back pains and conducted a thorough assessment of her vital signs. Afterward, the doctor would come in to conduct a quick examination before moving her to a dedicated treatment room. Once Alexee settled into her room, she would receive pain medication to alleviate her symptoms. The medication proved effective, bringing her a sense of relief. During the ER visit, the nurses couldn't help but notice Alexee's nervousness and constant fidgeting. She wore a baggy sweatshirt, seemingly attempting to avoid detection of something. When the question of pregnancy arose, which is a standard question often asked of female patients, Alexee's mother quickly interjected, vehemently denying any possibility.
"Absolutely not. I've been buying pads for her every month," she said.
In agreement, Alexee denied being pregnant and said that she had never engaged in sexual activity before. Despite Alexee being 19 years old and considered an adult, it was clear that her mother held a different perspective, still asserting a significant influence over her daughter's life. Following standard procedures, the ER doctor began a battery of tests that would uncover a series of potential causes. Infection? Kidney stones? Or could it be something else entirely? The truth behind the pain was about to unravel a web of secrets. And as night turned morning, their lives would change forever. Dr. Vasquez suspected there was more to Alexee's condition than met the eye. With an elevated heart rate and mysterious symptoms, the doctor would order an extensive workup. Tensions grew as Alexee's fate hung in the balance. An hour later, a urine pregnancy test brought a surprising revelation. Positive. But was the pregnancy viable? To confirm, Dr. Vasquez took swift action and ordered a blood test and attempted an ultrasound. But there was a problem. The correct probe for the device was missing. So the doctor would urgently request an on-call ultrasound tech be brought in to assist. As the wait for the confirmatory blood test results stretched on, Dr. Vasquez carried on with her rounds. The nurses, who were already informed about the positive pregnancy result from Alexee's urine, withheld the news but continued to provide dedicated care for Alexee. While the nurses played a vital role in attending to Alexee's needs, it would be for the doctor to deliver the official news regarding the test results. With shared anticipation, everyone patiently awaited the doctor's update on the confirmatory blood test. In Alexee's room, Nurse Chris found himself caught in the midst of a tense exchange between mother and daughter. He held the truth of her pregnancy, but Alexee's steadfast denial and secrecy posed a significant obstacle to providing her with the urgent care she so desperately needed. The clash between her claims of virginity and the impending reality would soon occur. Shortly after settling into her room, Alexee would buzz the nurse's station, complaining of a sudden urge to relieve her bowels. Caught on camera, Alexee's mysterious haste drew everyone's attention. She ran to the bathroom with her hand clutching her backside. Her mother, Rosa, sensed something was amiss. Anxious and concerned, she would make 2 trips to the locked bathroom door, desperately seeking to uncover the truth behind it. Inside the confines of the bathroom, a tense situation was unfolding. Multiple flushes could be heard. The CNA knocked.
Are you okay?
Alexee's voice echoed from behind the door.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time going to the bathroom.
CNA Lori replies.
Push the call light if you need anything.
Then more flushes. The nurses grew increasingly concerned as time continued to pass. Amidst the sounds of multiple flushes, Lori had a disturbing thought. Could this be more than just a struggle in the bathroom? Then she whispers of a potential miscarriage and possible hidden actions behind the door. Dr. Vasquez's nerves were on edge as the blood test results took longer than expected, so the doctor would decide to check in on Alexee, only to discover that she had been locked in the bathroom for an extended period. The doctor's concern escalated, urgently demanding that Alexee be brought out immediately. The search for the bathroom key took a moment, and tensions rose. Eventually, Nurse Chris threatened to open the door, prompting Alexee to finally come out. The door swung open, and Alexee emerged, unveiling a shocking scene of horror. Nurse Chris said,
"You okay? What happened?"
To which Alexee replies,
I'm on my period.
Then she turned and headed back to her room, leaving behind a trail of blood-soaked footprints. The unfolding events left everyone in disbelief and set the stage for a chilling investigation into the aftermath. The nurses were left astounded by the unsettling scene that awaited them in the bathroom. The room was drenched in blood, and the blood on the floor was smeared, signs Alexee tried to clean up. The nurses meticulously searched for any clues, examining both the toilet and the trash can. To their surprise, the toilet was empty, and the trash can contained only a clean, empty liner. As Alexee arrived at her assigned room, a bloody mess, RN Elizabeth commenced treatment, initially under the assumption that Alexee had engaged in some form of self-harm. There, she would get cleaned up, eventually changing into a gown and settling into bed. The nurses were all aware of Alexee's pregnancy at this point, further adding to the complex and unsettling nature of the bathroom. Dr. Vasquez would shortly thereafter enter the examination room to deliver both a surprising and devastating bit of news to Alexee and her mother, that it seemed that Alexee suffered a miscarriage. Despite the evidence, Alexee continued to deny any sexual activity to her mother, even after coming out of the bloody bathroom. Nurse Elizabeth noticed Alexee's fear and apprehension whenever her mother was in the room, as if she anticipated being in trouble with her. The news that she was pregnant led to a heated exchange between Alexee and Rosa. She was livid upon discovering that Alexee had engaged in sexual activity without disclosing it to her. But little did Rosa know, this moment would only be the beginning of a series of heart-wrenching and devastating discoveries that awaited her. Amidst the escalating chaos in Alexee's room, housekeeper Leela was summoned. She would be the one confronted with the disturbing condition of the bathroom, tasked with the daunting responsibility of cleaning up the puzzling and unsettling scene. Blood covered the walls, floor, and toilet, with a trail of footsteps leading from the bathroom to a nearby water fountain. The suspicions of miscarriage, coupled with the revelation and grim state of the bathroom, left everyone involved in a state of emotional turmoil and confusion. As the clock struck 2:08 in the morning, housekeeper Leela diligently began the task of cleaning up the blood, starting with mopping the floor to prevent the spread of any traces throughout the hospital. With thoroughness in mind, Leela meticulously wiped down every surface, not once, but twice before proceeding to clean the toilet. And the chaos that had engulfed the hallways began to subside as order was gradually being restored. Meanwhile, Dr. Vasquez, facing the challenge of not having the appropriate ultrasound probe, shifted her focus to Alexee's pelvic exam. Expecting the possibility of a miscarriage, the doctor embarked on the examination, carefully evaluating the situation. What Dr. Vasquez encountered during the exam left her in disbelief. She was perplexed. There was a significant amount of blood. As she diligently worked to evacuate the remaining blood, the examination was drawing to a close. But before she could finish, Charge Nurse HT burst into the room.
I need you out here right now.
He said to Dr. Vasquez. While housekeeper Leela was in the process of emptying the trash, she noticed an unusual weight in the trash can. Curiosity piqued. She decided to investigate further. As she removed the clean liner, she made a startling discovery. A full bag had been cleverly concealed beneath it. The bag was tightly twist-tied and tucked underneath itself for a secure seal. With a mix of apprehension and shock, Leela noticed something through the clear liner. A collection of hair in various shades, including purple, pink, and skin tones. Though uncertain, it appeared to be a baby. In utter shock, she called the nurses over to check it. Lori was the first to approach the bag, which to her had a purple and black color to it. Almost immediately, she spotted a face inside, prompting her to urgently call Nurse HT to come over. Lori pointed out the baby to HT, and he swiftly took action, tearing open the bag to reveal the still moist infant. He made a beeline to Dr. Vasquez, who was concluding Alexee's pelvic exam. While Nurse Elizabeth remained to attend to Alexee, Dr. Vasquez abruptly left the examination as HT informed her of the distressing discovery made by the housekeeper and Lori, a deceased baby found in the trash can. Upon hearing the shocking news, the doctor immediately inquired about the location of the baby, seeking to confirm its condition. They guided her to the trash can, and together they swiftly moved to Trauma Room 2, where the doctor carefully emptied the contents of the trash can onto a nearby gurney, placing the trash can beside it. On the gurney before them lay a full-term baby boy, weighing 5 pounds and 9 ounces. The newborn had a full head of black hair, with the umbilical cord still attached. How she managed to tear the umbilical cord remains a mystery. Did she chew it? Alongside the baby in the trash can, the doctor discovered other items: paper towels, additional trash bags, and a tampon. The presence of these objects only served to add to the distressing nature of this situation. Dr. Vasquez swiftly assessed the baby's condition, reaching the conclusion that the newborn had unfortunately passed away. The lifeless baby appeared cold with a bluish hue, displaying no signs of life. Considering the circumstances, Dr. Vasquez made the decision not to initiate resuscitation efforts. Aware that this might be a crime scene, she exercised caution, opting to carefully overturn the trash can onto the bed to release its contents. She refrained from physically touching the baby, marking the time of death as 2:28 a.m. Dr. Vasquez directed her attention toward providing care for the mother. Her significant bleeding and the possibility of the placenta not being fully delivered was a life-threatening problem if left unaddressed. While exiting Trauma Room 2, Dr. Vasquez's focus swiftly shifted to the well-being of the mother, Alexee, who had just given birth. The medical team faced uncertainty regarding the location of the placenta, a critical concern that required the expertise of an obstetrician. So Dr. Vasquez would initiate a request to transfer Alexee to Loveless Regional Hospital for specialized care. But before relaying the update to Alexee and Rosa, the doctor would request the presence of the police. And the unfolding conversation would soon shed light on the clues behind Alexee's deep-seated fear of revealing the truth. Detective Gonzalez and the accompanying officers swiftly took action to secure both the bathroom and trauma room 2 as part of the crime scene. After ensuring the proper measures were in place, they approached Alexee and delivered the stark news that she was being detained.
We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. It came out of me and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
But it
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth.
it was not crying or nothing.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here.
I
Stop,
just put
stop.
it in.
Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her up there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I need your permission to transfer her for medicals. She's
19.
Oh, you're right.
But she is a student too.
She's
No,
still
no,
19
you're
years old.
right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's 19.
Came out of me.
But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor delivery. Will you please agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. In terms, I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we need to do this correctly. And I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are gonna be. Officer, do you guys need to talk to her before we get her transferred?
How long is it going to be before you have to transfer
I
out?
don't know. Are we working on?
Okay.
Marina,
So-
what do you think, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Okay.
I got detectives on the way, so
Okay.
they're going to be talking to her.
Okay.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months?
Nothing was crying.
Lexi, have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail?
Nothing was crying.
Any other questions? Okay.
Right. So as of right now, like I said, is we're going to have the detectives come over here and they're going to talk to you, okay? We have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're going to get the doctor's statements. They're going to get everybody's statements, okay? So I don't know everything yet, okay? So I'm not going to tell you. I can't tell you nothing, honestly, okay? All I can
But
say
she's
is
not gonna go to jail.
right now.
No?
Right now she's being detained, so she's not going to leave from here at all. Period. Okay. So one of us will
Is
be
it in your custody? Like,
Yeah, she's detained. Yeah, she's not under arrest, but she
Okay.
is detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this whole thing is coming up, you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that.
she
All right.
won't.
The detectives will be here. They're going to talk to you. I mean, your care is of the utmost right now. Okay, they're going to do what they need to do to take care of you to make sure you get stable. They get you transferred out or whatever. Like I said, the detectives are already been notified. They're already on the way, so they're going to come talk to you. All right. So don't leave. Don't try to do nothing. One of us is always going to be in here in this room with you. Okay, unless we have to step out for doctor's orders or something like that, because if they need to examine you or do something with you. But other than that, like I said, you are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where was the baby at?
I don't know. I have no clue yet. Like I said, I just talked to the charge nurse. We're still getting all the information right now.
Okay.
Okay. Once we get that information, like I said, the detectives, they can clue you in on everything and talk to you more about it.
Okay.
All right.
Rosa would briefly step out of the room to make a phone call to her husband, but her absence lasted only a few seconds before she would return, seeking more details from Alexee. However, the officer present in the room promptly intervened, shutting down any further interrogation from her.
Where did you put the baby at? Tell me the truth. In there.
517-836-460.
That came out in the toilet bag. You put it in the bag?
Yes.
In what bag? Why did you say anything to us? Do you want to get in trouble for this now? You could get in trouble for this, baby.
Mom, just give it time, okay? Let us speak to the detectives whenever she's ready, okay? You ready for the second one? Second one is 512-401-333.
Rosa exited the room once more, assuring Alexee that she would return shortly. But unbeknownst to both of them, this would be the final opportunity for Rosa to be present in the room. Despite Alexee's obviously limited mental development, she is regarded as an adult in the eyes of the law. Nurse Elizabeth would begin making the necessary preparations for the ultrasound technician to enter the room promptly. As the technician arrived, they began scanning Alexee. Shortly afterward, the technician would respectfully request the presence of the officer be momentarily excused, ensuring Alexee the privacy she deserved. During the ultrasound examination, Alexee's apprehension grew and she began to question Nurse Elizabeth about the possible consequences awaiting her. Fully aware that she had done the unthinkable, Alexee started to express concerns about the potential outcomes. With Rosa now informed of her actions, Alexee's focus shifted to the possibility of facing legal trouble. In the presence of the ultrasound technician, Alexee anxiously inquired about the ramifications of discontinuing her birth control and turning to weight loss pills during her pregnancy. She expressed confusion, claiming she had no idea of her pregnancy. Alexee, a cheerleader who had noticed weight gain and her clothes fitting tighter, struggled to comprehend the situation, sharing her confusion with the nurse and the ultrasound tech. These signs, such as discontinuing birth control and starting weight loss medications, could indicate a guilty conscience. When aware of a pregnancy, it's common to stop taking birth control pills, and while attempting to conceal a pregnancy might lead someone to explore taking diet pills. The content of Alexee's Google searches will undoubtedly illuminate her state of mind in the period leading up to the tragic death of her son. These searches have the potential to provide valuable insights into her mindset and shed light on the circumstances surrounding the heartbreaking event. Google searches can and will be used against you in a court of law. But what was particularly striking throughout the reactions and conversations with Rosa and Alexee amidst this distressing situation was the noticeable absence of concern for the baby boy. Neither of them inquired or displayed a sense of care about his well-being or even questioned his gender. Around 3:15 a.m., the ultrasound technician concluded the scan and exited the room. CNA Lori had been diligently working on completing the necessary paperwork for Alexee's transfer to Lovelace. Shortly thereafter, House Manager Marina entered the room with a specific mission in mind: to establish the condition of the baby at birth. With a direct and probing question, Marina asked Alexee,
Did your baby at least take one breath?
And I go into the patient's room and I introduce myself, and I said, there's just a few questions that I need to ask you, and most of it was like, first and last name, date of birth, social security number, which she didn't know, and then whether or not she knew, whether or not she took any kind of medications, and then So I said, so, you know, right now it's very important that you're very honest and truthful with me. I said, and it was just she and I in the room. And
Mom wasn't there?
Mom was not there.
Okay.
And I said, did your baby take at least one breath when it first happened? Or did it take at least one breath, or was it not breathing? And then she kind of looked at me in the face and the eyes, and she was like, well, can I tell you? And I said, tell me what? And she said, so I've been having this bad abdominal pain, she said, and we came here to the ER, and when they brought me back here to this room, I felt like I needed to go poop. She said, and I asked if I could go to the bathroom. She said, and so when they said, yeah, that I could go to the bathroom, she said, when I sat on the toilet, she said, it just all fell out. And she said, but when I had it in my arms, it wasn't breathing, it wasn't moving. And so, of course, you want to be very, very judgmental at that time, and you have to bite your tongue sometimes, but, you know, my first reaction was like, I wanted to say, hey, well, then why wouldn't you call us for help? But I didn't. She said, so he wasn't moving, he wasn't breathing, so I just placed him in there.
Was that the last contact you had with her?
Then I asked, so do you have, was it a steady boyfriend? She said yes, and then I said, did he know that you were pregnant? And she was like, no. I said, did you know that you were pregnant? And she said, no. And then I said, so do you want to include him? Because there was a section for like the birth certificate. And I said, so do you want to put his name down as the father? And she said, for what? And I said, you know, this is all new to me too, so this would probably be for the birth certificate as well as a death certificate. And she said no, that she didn't want to put him down.
Alexee and her family were advised that a decision regarding charges was in the hands of the district attorney. One critical part of that decision would come from the results of the baby's autopsy and toxicology report. The baby's autopsy would show a male without any anatomic abnormalities or obvious physical injuries. The lungs were aerated and there was air in the stomach and no changes or decomposition. The connections in the heart that allow proper blood flow in utero were still open, which is not unusual in a newborn. The adrenal glands showed microscopic hemorrhage, which can be seen in cases of hypoxia or lack of air. Based on the length, weight, and organ size, he was approximately 38 weeks gestational age, which is term and compatible with life outside the uterus. The air in the lungs and stomach and no evidence of decomposition is consistent with the baby having been born alive. Baby John Doe was a newborn baby boy who died shortly after birth. His cause of death is entrapment, which occurs when an individual is in an airtight or relatively airtight container, in this case, a tied plastic trash bag, and consumes all of the available oxygen until there is no longer enough oxygen to sustain life. The manner of death is homicide. The toxicology report shows caffeine, morphine, and phentermine were present in the baby's system. Morphine would be consistent with the hospital giving Alexee meds for her pain, and phentermine, a popular weight loss drug, would be consistent with the statement Alexee made to Nurse Elizabeth that she had stopped birth control and started taking weight loss pills. It is for these reasons that on May 10th, 2023, 4 months after the horrifying incident at Artesia General Hospital, Alexee Trevizo was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence after placing her newborn baby in a hospital trash can. After a hearing before Eddy County District Judge David Finger, Alexee was released on $100,000 unsecured bond. Following her release, Alexee was granted permission to resume her regular activities, including attending school, fulfilling the requirements for graduation, and even participating in her senior prom. Just a month prior to her arrest, she had been all smiles, adorned in a tan mini dress and white sneakers. accompanied by her longtime boyfriend and self-admitted baby's father, Devin Fierro. Despite the impending legal proceedings, Alexee seemingly returned to a semblance of normalcy, as if nothing had ever happened. And in a surprising twist of events, on June 30th, 2023, Alexee and Devin, parents to Alex Fierro, the baby who was placed in the trash can by his mother, took legal action by filing a wrongful death civil suit. The target of this lawsuit is expected to be the hospital, which Alexee had deceived throughout the entire process, impeding and causing delays in her receiving appropriate care for both herself and her unborn baby. The lawsuit suggests a complex and contentious legal battle lies ahead as the couple seeks justice and accountability for the tragic outcome. What do you think about this case? Is it one you will follow? Do you think Alexee knew she was pregnant? If so, do you think she tried to hide it by taking weight loss pills? Although it's not common, it isn't unheard of for a woman to not know she's pregnant. Do you think that the hospital not telling Alexee she was pregnant before her trip to the bathroom makes the hospital culpable? What do you think her Google searches will reveal? Let's continue the conversation down in the comments. I'll see you there. Justice for Alex Fierro.